definitely need to focus this morning because I'll probably explain it at a later time, but I just need to really have the focus locked in today. Not like that it's okay to not focus on any other day. I'm just saying. Okay. All right, so we got sell-off right at the open. We've been, pretty much hanging out bullish in the neutral zone all session, trading down to quickly making our way to the session low. Got a little momentum down there, so I definitely want to be cautious on the trigger. And this would be something. This is good. I like this open. This gives me what I'm trying to test out. Okay. Very interesting response there. Got a buy response off the session low. Which is also our power range low. We never made it below the power range low. ES and the other index futures has seen more bulls throughout the session. Now there's a reversal candle, but technically it's not a trigger for me. Just the way that printed. The price action we got right there. But we are seeing a lot of buy participation here into one of our zones. I think that's actually served right there as a inventory zone before. Right now, it seems to be kind of serving as a supply zone. Interesting. And I wasn't fully ready. I'm still not. Let me kind of got a late start also this morning. So this is why I haven't pulled the trigger yet. So let's go ahead and make sure we refocus. The only goal is to trade the strategy to perfection. No orders after 10:15. I may be a little loose on that today. 600 or more done for the day. See the big picture. Pull the trigger and sim is off. Okay. All right, everything on my checklist. All right, so now let's lock in. We get another response down there at the session low. That's what I would have been wanting to look for if I was fully ready. Another thing that's interesting this morning with me so my copier, so to speak, wasn't responding the way that I wanted it to when I was testing it out earlier. So we got a little bit of sell-off this morning. A little sell-off on volume. Let's see if we get the kind of price action that we've been getting lately. Also, as I was studying last night, just one thing I've been paying attention to is those whole numbers every 10 points. Those 10-point whole numbers. Lord have mercy. Those 10-point whole numbers have been kind of responsive as well. Just something that I'm being aware of. And I forgot to get my water. So I'm only with tea this morning. It's all good. And see, so I said that because we saw another response there at 470. So our buyers step back in and take us right back to our previous session low. So this is turning into a look below and fail. We're not done with this area yet. Let me be ready on the trigger. We're kind of bouncing around right now. Prices, a little bit of volatility, just a little bit. Nothing too crazy. This previous session low is kind of turned into an inventory zone. I personally would like it to go to PR -1. That's just a personal preference of mine. He's getting a lot of participation response down there at 477-ish, above 475. And see, this is the challenge for me talking and trying to trade at the same time. Now, technically, this would have been a trigger. That's when I was still going through my stuff, so I didn't catch it. So now we've definitely confirmed that 475 area to be a inventory zone. So really it's 485 to 475. We got a 10-point range for our inventory. And honestly, I could have played it a little more down there. Taking us back up, so now we're looking to make our way back to VWAP on our beat the VWAP price action. Getting a sell response here in our supply zone, which is an even 500. So for right now, we're just kind of pushing price back and forth between 500 and 570. Nice little 30-point range there. Seeing nice little responses that I would like to see. Quick response in that supply zone. That is definitely a supply zone up there, 500, because we saw prices shoot back down inside the range, inside of our wholesale range. Would it be mad to go back to those session lows? We definitely have a look below and fail. Now, here's what can happen at the look below and fail. And this look below and fail being at this in our, what I've been calling the, so we built a little bit of support here at our power range low, right? Peak below that, and this is the real push to break out of that, to break down bearish outside of this, beyond our power range low, which was our session low. That failed, so that's the look below and fail. It came back up inside of the range, chopped around a little bit, confirmed our inventory zone there, and now we're back inside our wholesale range, which could possibly look into go long from here. Now, what I'm bringing up here, the whole point I wanted to make here, if we go back down and we try this area again, we know we have buyers down there, so our buyers are going to have stops down here as well. So if we break that one more time, there's a good chance that we can have a stop run. Where it could go, who knows, right? Or if we hit this level again, where we got saw a look below and fail, and once again see a buy response, then that could be another, give us another push, or a push to get break out of this range, right? So these are the different things that we're looking at, and we just know that we can expect some sellers up here in our supply zone, all right, or some selling, right? So just because, well, sellers, that's fine, yeah. I'm working on my language. Because no matter what, they're still, if you're selling, you're a seller. So you can be a seller for profit, or you can be a seller to short. All right, so let me focus. I want to see what we do here at our supply zone. Kind of a late fill there for me. Because I tried to hit it before. All right, just a little scalp out the gate. Let me see, make sure everything went through. All right, it's like I'm not holding anything at this point. And this is kind of what I was working on all day yesterday. Still got some more work to do to perfect it. Like ideally, I would have wanted to be in that over here. I wanted to get that kind of same play like that over there. But when we had our look below and fail, especially right here, I should have been in that one there. All right, so we're still seeing our sell response. Now, here's the beauty of if we do break down below and catch a nice little stop run, which seems like we're trying to do right now, because they've exhausted our buyers. So in here, as you can see how much momentum we're catching. All the buyers within this range, within this wholesale range, has been exhausted. So now we'll see, once we get back to this inventory, starting to see some participation down there. I would like it for it to give us a nice little stop run, at least down here to our balance. And if we do get a response off balance, now since we got momentum here, I'm not gonna be that aggressive. I'm gonna just let it play out. But since, that's a nice response right there at the low of that, right as we look in the break, we're definitely gonna trap some shorts there, and they're running it on them. Now, so what I was going to say is, if we would have traded down further, that would have been our slingshot, because I don't think we have enough supply in this market to really take us anywhere. I think most of this selling that we're seeing is short covering. But if that would have happened, to make the point, if we would have traded down there, and this could be happening right here, but if we would have traded a little bit further down, then that could have gave us some slingshot momentum to take us out of this wholesale range. But since we can already see exhaustion here, that could be enough to take us out of this wholesale range. So I'm just going to watch it and see. Let me go ahead and reset my scales and just see how this thing plays out. Back to our previous inventory zone, we're seeing another buy response. Our shorts are trapped now, so that would have been a good location to. That's a good location for anybody that's trying to go long there. And I'm just going to apologize if I'm taking big gulps inside of the mic. Okay, getting distracted. Let me zero in. I don't know how I got this. Something that's interesting, how easily I've been getting distracted lately. Just check my phone for no reason. So, all right, back on the charts, we're seeing a mechanical response here. Nice mechanical response for a little bit of selling. If I had to give it, if I had to say there was any particular participation, I would say that was profit taking. Gave us another location to buy at the top of our previous session low. Top of our inventory zone. Still seeing a sell response in our supply zone. New participation here inside of wholesale. Now, me personally, I would like them to hold this wholesale for as long as they want. All right, so back down to where we caught some buyers previously. Late response for me. I need to be a little bit quick on the trigger there. Let's see what kind of response we get down here. Getting some more buy participation. And if I get quiet, it's because I'm trying to focus. Went ahead and just took the scalp right there. This how price slowed down. Now that could go, but I actually had a signal. I'm not gonna give all the sauce. I'm not gonna give the whole sauce, but I did have a signal that also gave me an indication to go ahead and, based off of how I built the strategy at this point, right? Like I said, it's a work in progress. I'm always working to improve, not change. So that's one thing I want to go ahead and, I think it's a good time to make this point here. So I could have held that for sure, but it is what it is. So one of the biggest lessons of my trading career is with changing things, okay? It's changing too much, right? So the biggest mistake that I've ever made, no matter, I've made a lot of mistakes, of course. I've, had a little FOMO. I've taken profits too soon. I've not followed my plan and my strategy and all that stuff. But the biggest mistake that I ever made, which in hindsight actually was kind of, if you look at it, it's also kind of the best thing that I ever did, because it led me down this journey of exponential growth. But let me make this point. Because now that I said it and I'm thinking about it like that, it almost feels like it's not the biggest mistake that I ever made. But let's just go ahead and stick with the original thought. The biggest mistake that I ever made was changing my strategy in the beginning, right? So I'm still gonna, I still say that is the biggest mistake, even though I turned that mistake into a positive by continuing to, grow and expand, and actually that opened my perspective to different things. But when we're starting, we want to have a strategy that we stick to no matter what. And the reason we want to do that is so that we build experience and we get our screen time in, and we, acclimate ourselves to this new environment, because we haven't, we're new. So we haven't had the experience, or we haven't had the time to really understand this environment, to condition ourselves to this new environment, right? So you don't want in the beginning, until you find consistency, you don't want to change your strategy. The consistency is extremely important with trading, right? It's actually one of the hardest things to achieve, I believe, from just my own personal experience and just observation of other traders. Consistency is one of the hardest things to achieve as a trader. And it doesn't matter if you're day trading, swing trading, if you're investing, whatever it is, it's extremely difficult for a lot of traders to be consistent, or these people who participate in these environments to be consistent. So you want to work on that out the gate. And the way to do that is to have a strategy and to execute that strategy until you're consistent with that strategy. Now, you're probably going to lose a lot of money because you're going to make mistakes, right? But you can't, in the beginning, the focus should not be on making money, right? The focus should be on yourself, your consistency, building your screen time, getting the experience that you're going to need that's going to carry you, through years and years and years of trading, right? So I forgot my original point, but the whole overall point is I would highly recommend to do not change your strategy and to stick to your strategy. So that doesn't mean that you can't make improvements. So I think this is getting back full circle to the original point I was trying to make. When you're trying to improve, you should be improving on the strategy that you have, right? So if you see something that you think is better with that strategy, if you see another way to tweak that strategy, you can do that. Now, again, you want to be slow to do that. You need to, go through several, iterate several sessions before you start tweaking stuff, right? You want to, whatever strategy you have right now, you want to execute that throughout different market cycles. That way you fully test the strategy and you fully test your ability to be consistent. And also important is you fully test yourself or your ability to be able to recover from a drawdown, right? And I mean a closed drawdown. All right, so we get another buy response here when I'm talking around 650 or 450. Right, so we can see a lot of participation here around, like, I guess that's, that is 455. All right, so that's just, but right now this is where I be looking for. Why I'm not participating in this is because I'm looking for a reversal here. This is why I'm looking for price to turn, or I'm looking for a confirmation of the bear zone. Now, so for this, I'm not going to go into detail about the bear zone and the neutral zone, the bull zone, and how I trade it. But I do have a course coming out, if anybody's interested in the specifics and the details of this strategy, taking it serious and all of that good stuff. I do have a course coming out, a partnership with VorTrade that, that's just in the works right now. So I have more details, but it is available for pre-order. If you're interested in that, you just go ahead and go on to my website, mv3trader.com. All right, so I think I made the point about not changing your strategy. The whole overall point is to just don't change, be very slow. Actually, do not change your strategy. And when you're getting started, when you're new to this environment, do not change your strategy until you find consistency, right? And then you can start exploring other strategies. And you want to also lock that strategy in, because when I changed my strategy in the beginning, I actually changed it too quickly. And I ended up forgetting exactly how I did the original strategy. Now, the crazy thing about that is that original strategy actually allowed me to pretty much double my account within a month. So, and then for whatever reason, I thought I saw something better, and I explored that better strategy. And that happened at a time where market conditions shifted, and I ended up losing all of the profits that I made, probably a little bit more, and I forgot the original strategy because I hadn't executed it consistently for a long enough time, right? So that was a confirmation, kind of a retest confirmation right there, even though I'm still kind of biased long. But anyway, getting back to the whole point, while I'm taking this time to watch and put this information out, or speak on this idea that I had. Let me go ahead and just wrap this up. That was another look below and fail. Now this is really, I really not crazy about the short trades right now. So this is why I'm taking this time to go ahead and say this stuff. This is for a long position. This is not a trade area for me, but we do have another look below and fail. So this is what I wanted to happen for our slingshot outside of this outside of this wholesale range. All right, so there's a retest. Just want to see what kind of participation. So we're selling back to interesting price action, selling back down to the support of that area. Seeing a response here, catching some buyers. Nice little recess. And back inside of our wholesale range, because we just expanded our wholesale range and kind of finding a little resistance at balance, at our balance level. Price is holding at the balance level. Let's see if we get another dip. So this is kind of turning, well, not kind of, it actually is turning into a little micro supply zone, trying to, you know, take out all of our sellers right here. Still got some sell interest. All right, so yeah, I think I made that point about the whole don't change the strategy. If you're gonna make a change, it's only to make a tweak to your original strategy until you find consistency. And when you find consistency, you will also lock in your original strategy, which will help you not to forget your original strategy, so you can not make the same mistake that I did. All right, so that was a good summary of what I was trying to, what I took so long to say in the beginning. Okay, now so let's go ahead and focus back on the chart. We're back above that balance level of 642.5. I've seen that balance level a few times. I think we've played around this balance level a few times over the last few months. We still got some sell participation up there. So we're just kind of, you know, bouncing price back and forth. That didn't give me the kind of slingshot that I would like to see. So this is very interesting. I'm just watching at this point how they're just position building right here. So we may have a slow slingshot, kind of like we saw yesterday. It's very similar to what we saw yesterday. And I got destroyed in this area yesterday. But it, you know, that was more of a, it's a little bit more. We traveled further from we had more travel space. That's the best way to say it. Yesterday, you know, versus today. All right. So basically last year, 2021 for me was a lot of tweaking. I actually tweaked several times. And there's a lot of reasons for it, which I won't go into right here. But so I already solidified and I found consistency with the new original strategy. So now I'm kind of going back to the original strategy. And this is what we're seeing right now. And this is why, and I'm doing more so watching than participating with that, you know, with all of that, the new strategy and all, I mean, not the new strategy, but the improvements to the original strategy. So yeah, that's why I'm more so hands off today and just really trying to watch and observe. Get another buy response down here after off of this new support. Let's just go ahead and call it 450 for simplicity, instead of trying to find an exact number. But we're still seeing some sellers up at our balance level, getting some sell participation at the balance level. Now if we push out at this, we could go on a nice little stop run. So we're kind of just holding here between in this little wholesale, little micro wholesale range. We don't know exactly, well, I don't know exactly. I'm just going to keep it to myself. I can't speak for anyone else. I don't know exactly what they're trying to do with this little accumulation right here, where they're trying to take it, but my strategy is saying, well, we are in the bear zone. So yeah, we're in the bear zone. Just according to how I have all of my stuff laid out. All right, so let's see if we can break down and go on a nice little stop run. We should have some stops here to hit, according to the common belief. We are catching some buyers down there. And then back inside of our, not quite. Just retested it. And then now we're breaking down. And we're just slowly breaking down. So we can call this kind of a battle right here. Got a little battle going on. It's good to be a watcher for me personally. Oh, and I am having triggers that I'm not, since I'm not looking at it like that anymore. So that was an inside trigger there. This was kind of a takeout, more so of a continuation trigger. It's just an aggressive trigger off balance. That's all that really is. Aggressive takeout off balance. Or not even off balance, off our PR -1. So just for a little bit of personal self-awareness here, a self-awareness check-in. You know, I haven't played a lot of this also because I've been long biased. So from a daily perspective, we're kind of making our way back inside of the daily range. We found resistance. What is that? December 28th, which kind of is taking us back to mechanical support. Actually, no, structural support. So now we're just breaking down here. And I'm just being very, very patient this morning. So now we've I have to look. So this is, I think I wrote this in I either wrote it in the Discord or I wrote it in the journal yesterday. That, you know, I stick to the direction as indicated, or as dictated by the strategy, or by the plan, right? Until price and structure and volume and all that stuff, until the market forces me to change the perspective. And the market has definitely forced me to change the perspective at this point. So now I have to, as per the design of my plan and of the strategy, I have to look for shorts now. So let me respect that. And let me not forget to also continue to draw out my zones. Now, I could probably look left a long way and see, but I don't necessarily need structural support. I just need volume at this point. We see some participation in there. Was that 415? So we got volume right there at 415. Just gonna mark up all of that. That's down at our PR -3. Another whole number response to the tick at 420. I don't know how friendly it is. It's a little corny. I'm sorry about that. All right. So we are seeing a sell response at the top of this range for a continuation. This could be a takeout for a continuation. We're also seeing a buy response at the low of that range. Back into supply. Inside pair. A little bit of order flow that's not taking us anywhere except the opposite direction. So our buyers are hitting it there at 410. Sellers, again, we got this nice little battle zone here. It's also proven to be a micro wholesale range. I like big sizable wholesale ranges. It's a nice little almost a 10-point wholesale range, which is what I'm calling a micro wholesale range. So let's see if we tried to make it. We almost tried to make an attempt to break out of that inside pair, which created another inside pair, an inside of an inside of an inside. And eventually we're gonna have to break out of this. So if we break short, that'll be a continuation trigger. Then we'll have to look for follow through. But we're gonna go back to the top first and let's see if we get a slingshot. We didn't actually get a, so our seller is kind of, oh no, our sellers are still hitting it, but we could have some breakouts. Some people trying to break out long there. Just trying to make an attempt to squeeze the shorts. Didn't have a lot of short participation up there, but we did get some short participation. There's an attempt to squeeze them, a quick retest. And right back into the range. And this is, here we got the slingshot. So this is what I was looking for the slingshot earlier. So that, I mean, it doesn't mean that the slingshot has to fully play out. It's just a slingshot attempt. So we did go back inside of that zone, but once again, we got a response off 410. But they're still keeping us inside of this little micro wholesale range. Where we're just collecting for the next move. Some major takeaways from me in this session. Even though I've only taken one trade, I'm cool with being one and done for the day, just to be honest with you. Because right now my main thing, again, I'm treating this kind of as a new trader, and I'm looking for a gain that's bigger than just taking that's bigger than just profits. So let me say that one more time. I'm looking for a gain that's bigger than just profits. A gain that can increase my profit potential and get me back to where I was at the beginning of 2021. All right, so now we're seeing some follow through of the slingshot. That slingshot, that was just a slow slingshot, but it was a slingshot still. And there's the push down to our next balance. Actually, since that wasn't inside, technically that was a trigger as well. So I didn't call it out when it happened, and that's I don't really do call outs anyway. But I did kind of mention what I was seeing and how I was seeing it. So we got another, once again, another. So they're not letting, well, they did let it run one time, but we got another look below and fail. So let's see where we go from here. That is a huge inventory range at 420. I'm sorry. That's a huge supply zone at 420. If we start trading back long, eventually we can break out of that supply zone. This is going to be one of them days also where I really study to watch this. This is giving me some good game film, some good game tape. So okay, it wasn't a complete look below and fail. It was just a head fake of a look below and fail. So because we went right back down into our short zone, or 2 hour, and made it all the way. So what that really was some front run of that mechanical level. And now we're seeing the full buy response at the mechanical level. Our shorts are still here. Our sellers are still here. So we're just going to keep pushing price down. And it's already 10:13 and time flew by. So yeah, that one trade is going to be a one. Oh no, I took 2 trades. That's right. I did take 2 trades. So those 2 are going to be it for me. Again, this is really good game film for me to watch. One thing that I'm doing is I'm increasing my for 2022 is I'm increasing my practice sessions and my study sessions more. Kind of treating this as like an athlete. So the analogy, here's the analogy, and I got an analogy for just about everything. So basically what I'm doing is I'm treating the futures market as my NBA, because when I was a wee lad, when I was younger, I always had dreams and aspirations of playing in the NBA, because of course basketball is my favorite sport. So, obviously those NBA dreams did not happen. And I kind of I'm not gonna get into all that. But anyway, so basically I'm treating the futures market as my NBA. So at this point, this is where, you know, I've been working. I've been, you know, I made it into the league. I was riding the bench for a while, you know, getting a little bit of play time here and there. But now I finally, you know, I got the chance to make the starting lineup. So, you know, I'm not going to, you know, as trying to be the best player that I can be, I'm not going to just be, okay, I made it to the starting lineup, so I'm just going to relax and you know, and just kind of take the opportunity for granted. No, I'm going to go harder now, right? I'm going to make sure the stuff that got me there, I'm going to double it pretty much. So it's you know, kind of the Mamba mentality where I'm really going to lock in, and I'm going to, you know, get as much practice as I can, and I'm going to really work on perfecting my craft as much as I can, right? So that's how I'm treating 2022. I'm on the starting lineup, so I'm really going in, getting, you know, where I was doing, you know, maybe 1,000 shots in a practice session. I'm going to have more practice session where I'm doing 2,000 shots, you know, that kind of mentality, right? And I'm going to be watching more game film and all of that stuff. So that's where that's where I am right now for in terms of how I'm approaching my trading career. And I think this is a pretty good private futures radio session. And I'm just saying private because I only did it myself. It wasn't a live futures radio session, but it was a recorded futures radio session. And I probably will post this to YouTube later. So with all that being said, I'm at the end of my trading window. I have some other things to do today. I'm going to go ahead and sign off of the futures radio today. Hope everybody had a good trading session, because by the time you see this, your trading session may be done. So appreciate everybody for tuning in. To the next one, trade it easy. Tune in live to Futures Trade Radio by joining the MB3 Trade Engineers Discord, link in the description below.